Hello everyone, Squintina here, and today we will be going over my Endwalker Bard setup. A few things moved around since the last expansion, but overall, if you were using my previous setup, this should feel fairly familiar. If you were not using it, that's quite alright, let's get into it. As a reminder to any newer players, I will be using the names at level 90. However, do not worry, if you drag an action that you have not yet unlocked, it will automatically adjust if there is a lower level version available to you. First, we'll talk about the left side of the primary cross hotbar. I usually favor my right side, so the left will have things that are lesser used like Repelling Shot, Foot Graze, Head Graze, and R2 dots. The dots are actually very important for your opener, but in an ideal world, you will get to renew them via Iron Jaws on the other side. Peloton is also here, and it's on an action button so you can easily activate it while moving. I used to have it in a different location, but thanks to changes to Machinist and my desire to have role actions in the same places if possible, Peloton had to be moved, so it's here now. On the right side we have our main GCDs, Apex Arrow, Refulgent Arrow, Burst Shot, and of course Iron Jaws. Very important to have those on our action buttons to be able to easily use them while we move away from the healer to make them angry. Then on the D-pad, we have our abilities, Empyreal Arrow, Bloodletter, Sidewinder, and at the bottom we have the Wanderer's Minuet. This will automatically change into Pitch Perfect while it's active. Last expansion, those two abilities were separate, but now they're not, which is fantastic because that means it opened up a spot on the double cross hotbar. Speaking of, let's go into the double cross hotbar. You access this by double tapping, and you do need to set this up in character configuration. I will show you where to configure this at the end, do not worry. But anyway, on the right side of the double cross hotbar, we have some important abilities. Battle Voice is where I normally keep party damage buffs, if Job has them. Bard has two thanks to Radiant Finale, and I put it on the D-pad. I like to keep certain patterns, so self buffs are usually where Raging Strike is right now, and I like for job resources to be on the bottom action button where Barrage is. In this case, the resource is unlocking Straight Shot Ready. For jobs with multiple resources, I also use the up action button, so we will put our second priority song there for Mage's Ballad. Lastly, I always like to have the party mitigation on the D-pad, so here is Troubadour, and Nature's Mina. Arm's Length goes where I always put my anti-knockback ability. On the left side of the double cross hotbar, we have the last song. Notice that it's on the same button as Mage's Ballad. Then we have some utility with Second Wind, Warden's Paean, and if you're doing solo deep dungeon, Leg Graze. Leg Graze and Foot Graze aren't next to each other for two reasons. One, because it makes it easier to remember which one is which. I find Foot Graze, which binds, makes more sense next to Head Graze, which is an interrupt, because they both stop something. One stops a cast, the other stops movement. Leg Graze is a slow, so I like for it to be separate. And the second reason, because with the way I have Dancer set up, I would not be able to bring Leg Graze down anyway. We also have our Limit Break and our consumables. Feel free to use any of these three slots for your tinctures. The super push in here is just a placeholder for where I normally put tinctures. That takes care of our single target rotation, but what about AoE? Well, we have our expanded, that's left and right together, and I like to make them both the same, so left and right is the same thing as right and left. It's basically the same as the primary's right side, but with AoE actions replaced where applicable. Sprint is on the macro on the right click-in button. I have it dragged to a regular hotbar for visibility, which you can do either via a mouse or by using the virtual mouse or touchpad. Okay, the explanation's done, here is how to set this up. Character configuration, hotbar settings, cross. Then, custom, settings for the expanded, I use set 2. Settings for the double tap, I use set 3. System configuration, gamepad settings, button configuration, macro number 99. So we go to our user macros, individual. Last one is 99 for the sprint macro. And just to show the setup again, primary on the right, primary on the left, double cross hotbar on the right, double cross hotbar on the left, expanded. If you're using the same settings I am, you can utilize the macros in the description to set this up automatically. I also like for my gauge to be in the center. Anyway, that is my setup. Feel free to change anything as needed. It's completely okay to just use this as inspiration and make changes. Do let me know what you thought of this in the description, and I will see you for the next one. Be sure to like, comment, take over the world, and have fun. Bye bye.